Hey everybody, welcome to Dungeons and Drams. Tonight we are going to be finishing up our Temple of the, Temple of the Eldritch Echo, I believe is what we were calling it. Yes, Temple of the Eldritch Echo. So we have a bit of stuff to do, although I will tell you that I've done a little bit off stream here. Part of that reason is that it just takes a long time to do this while streaming, and I wanted to move on to things like getting into Foundry and, you know, adding the enemies and even just seeing what this thing looks like when it's done. So, want to say hi to Emily and Mike, who are in the chat. A few others are there as well, but, you know, silent participants, totally fine. I'm just glad to have you guys around. So, let's just get right into this. So I'm going to show you what I've done since the last time we talked. Actually, I've done quite a bit, so let's save this one. Whoops. Let's save this because I was just working on it. Yeah, that giant heart there. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so we were in... Let's see. Okay, all right. So the first thing I did, I'll just kind of show you these. So there's 3 different maps. We have the top level, second level, and third level. The second level, when I was showing you this the last time we were streaming, I had all of the like trees and everything kind of on the side, which doesn't make a lot of sense because at this point we are underground. So I thought that was kind of funny, and I was just like, oh, well, maybe not. Okay, so we have room 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe that we did all of these and on the last stream, and you know, we'll go into a little bit of detail when I'm mapping these things out, but I don't want to reiterate things. So if you didn't see part 1 or part 2, don't worry about it. We'll end up kind of covering everything generally. Obviously go check those out if you'd like to, but I get that they're long streams. These are kind of more of a show up and hang out kind of thing. Okay, so this last room though, number 8, actually that looks a little stretched. That's a little strange. Let's do that. That looks better. Okay. This last room here, I basically just added a rope ladder with like kind of a empty, ominous looking dark cavern below it. So not a whole lot. This room has a purpose and a whole bunch of stuff, and I think we hit that like at the very end of the stream last time. So again, we'll go over that later. So let's go into the stuff I've done that you haven't seen yet. Go into live streams and we'll go to level 3. So as I was doing the stream last time, little things like adding walls or whatever just takes time, and it kind of creates like a silence, and I didn't love it. So I went ahead and created all of these rooms, and I didn't really generate anything new through ChatGPT, at least nothing that you haven't kind of already heard the gist of. But let me walk you through this. So this is the chamber of the... Sorry, I'm just bringing up my notes here. I believe it's like the chamber of the high priest or something like that. So this is going to be room 9, chamber of the high priest. Perfect. Okay, so this is going to be a 30-foot by 40-foot long, ceiling height of 20, and basically this is where the high priest would hang out. So I have a couple different things here. The door here is going to be locked. Obviously they have a bed. Now everything here is a little bit, some things are like destroyed, some things aren't. Mostly that's just lack of icons of like having a destroyed bed. So that was fine. I didn't really care. I think that bed's a little big. But there's a table here with some books on it, which may intrigue the players, and there is a reason for that. In fact, there's something hidden there. There's a little stool, a rug, nothing major. But again, locked door. So if they are able to get in there, they might be able to find some treasure. There's a couple of things. There's this throne here, and I ended up making these black candles, which when we go into Foundry, I will actually... allow these to be lit, and I'll show you how to do that. And if you were to light all 6 of these, then that will summon the high priest, who looks like that. So that's what the high priest looks like. He's kind of a his name is Eldritch Valdrin, and he is, you know, kind of there to be either an enemy or somebody that you could talk to. And I helped to define a little bit of the NPC-ness of him to see, like, what kind of things does he know. In general, it would be kind of an improv on the DM's part to figure out what you want to let the players know about or how you want them to know about it. But the idea is, when I was making this room, I was like, okay, there's a throne here. You definitely want to describe that. Somebody's going to sit on it. And so I had it so that if they sit on it, he's immediately going to be hostile. You know, that maybe they could talk him out of being hostile or something, but in general, like, don't sit on the throne and don't touch any of these items on the side, which is almost guaranteed to happen. But if the players notice the candles, which I'll kind of go out of the way to point out, and if they choose to light any of them, as they light more and more, they're going to see the specter kind of appear on the throne, and he'll be kind of like really translucent to start off with and become more opaque as they light more candles. So that's the idea, and then you can learn some stuff from them. All right, so this next room here with the heart. Hey, Dennis. Hey, Recycled. Another fun episode. I was supposed to play D&D, but no one showed up. Oh, no. Sorry to hear that, Dennis. That's the worst. Oh, hello. Wasn't expecting this. Yeah, Recycled. I had planned on doing it last night, and then I just kind of didn't. I don't remember why. I think my wife was gone and like had to put the kids to bed myself, so kind of thing. Like, we do it normally together, but she's doing it tonight, so. Anyway, the description of this next room. This is room number 10, which is called the Eldritch Heart. Now, the description that ChatGPT gave me was that this is the heart of the temple. But I took that literally. It actually kind of went on to say there's a giant crystal floating in the middle of the room. But I was like, no, let's put a giant heart in the middle of the room. I think that'd just be very cool and kind of like really eerie. As you can see, there's these little tendrils kind of coming out of it. And what I did is I actually used lightning, a token for lightning, and I changed the color so that it would appear... I can't change it back. That's fine. So it would appear black. And I thought that was just kind of neat. So this room is going to be not only a fight, but also a puzzle. And the fight is going to be with this guy right here. The Eldritch Guardian. Might give him a cooler name. Not sure. I think it's generic enough. It doesn't really matter. But in general, there's going to be a little bit of a riddle / fight. So the Eldritch Guardian is a CR7. So he's going to be a tough fight. But if the players are smart and they start looking around on these pedestals, there is something here that maybe I won't give away because I might still run this. And that may help you to defeat them. Okay, going along to the next room. This room I actually did completely different than what ChatGPT gave me, only because it was just kind of like another nothing room. And it did say that this is kind of like a library or something like that. Let's actually go over to ChatGPT and see what it was saying. Let's do this for room 11. All right, so I have kind of this prompt that I've been giving it each time I want it to define a room. So it knows that let's do this for room 11 is give me everything. So, and you can define those kind of prompts by saying something to that effect, like, I want you to give me all of this information about this room. And then if the next thing you do is say something like, let's do room 2, then it kind of picks up on that's what that phrase means. Okay, so in the case here, this is the hidden sanctuary. That's right. It had a whole bunch of shelves and like stone tablet, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of just nothing. But what was more important is that there's a hidden passage behind this bookshelf. Now, when I look at this room, you see the sacrificial table here. I thought that would be cool. And as a player, I think that I would probably be like, oh, well, there's blood on the floor. There's a sacrificial table. So clearly we have to sacrifice somebody in order to get onto the next room. So maybe one of the players like cuts their hand and drips blood on it. That'd be fine. I loaded this room with a whole bunch of, even if you do something, nothing's going to happen, which I thought was kind of funny. So like, let's say that they bleed on the table. Nothing's going to happen. Let's say they decide to light these braziers. Nothing's going to happen. What they need to do is kind of look around and see that there's a trail of blood leading towards this bookcase here. If they move this... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong menu. Yep, sorry. This room right here, let me just kind of do this real quick. Sacrificial table, brazier, blood, right? So if they were to look around, they might think, oh, the blood kind of leads through here. Let me poke around here. And with a very easy investigation check, they'll notice that there is a secret door. So... that brings us to our last room, which is kind of like the big one. This is where you're actually going to fight Cavathos, and potentially, or at least the avatar of Cavathos, which for anybody who hasn't been watching these episodes, the avatar looks like, oh, come on. Really, dropping it right on the screen doesn't do it? That's too bad. Oh, there it is. Okay, it was just slow. So that's the avatar of Cavathos. Fantastic. I love that artwork. Okay, so in here, there's a number of things going on. There are some chains against the wall. Maybe the players do something with that. Who knows? There's obviously these huge chains which are holding the portal up. They're going to be... I don't really know. Like, if the players manage to cut them, maybe I give them like an AC of 20 or something like that. If they manage to cut the chains, maybe this thing falls over, or maybe it starts kind of flickering, and every now and then the guy disappears because he can't hold on to his corporeal form or something like that. That could be kind of neat. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of coming up with that. So over here, there are these glowing crystals, which don't really do a whole lot, but if you walk over them, they'll either be rough terrain, or if you get thrown into them, you'll take some extra damage. These things are pillars in the middle of the room. They have like skulls on them, so they look kind of neat. They're mostly just going to be there for something to hide behind, and the rug is just a rug. All right, so in this room is going to be the avatar of Captos, and if you beat him, then congratulations, you win. Cool. All right, so I'm pretty happy with how everything came out here, and I am going to just export this because even though I could take some time and update my document, I'd rather get into Foundry and start adding things there, because I think it'd be kind of neat to watch that happen and see this thing come together. Pretty sure that I have the most up-to-date on everything. Let me export this one as well. I do have the first one, and I definitely haven't changed that, so I know that. Okay. So let's see. All right. Oh, whoops. So one thing that I would suggest you guys do if you ever decide to run Foundry Sorry about that. Thank you. I appreciate that you said that. So I've only recently added this as a separate scene in OBS, and I always forget to add the microphone. Sorry about that. Thanks. Okay, so all I was just saying is that if you decide to run something through Foundry, take the time to make a little landing page. It really just brings people into it. Cool. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go to level 1, and we are going to add our background image, which... Let's see. We are going... so for what we're doing today, we are actually taking everything into Foundry, and we're going to make this thing alive. We're going to add our characters... our enemies. We're going to add lighting. We're going to add all the things. So I've just added all 3 of our new maps. So this one's going to be level 1, and we're just going to save that. Cool. I'm going to add the same thing to level 2, just to get this out of the way, since we're in here. And then I'm going to add the same thing to level 3. All right. So as we're going through this, we're going to go kind of room by room, and we're going to review some of our notes, and we're going to do a little set dressing. We're going to add characters where they belong, enemies, etc., etc. Okay. So the first place that we start, this is room number 1. And I'm going to spare you guys the back and forth, and I'll just kind of tell you what room number 1 is. So room number 1 is the entrance hall. It's, man, you know what? It'd be a little more interesting. Not that words are terribly interesting, but at least you can look at what I'm looking at. Excuse me. So the room number 1 is the entrance hall. It's 30 feet wide, 60 feet long. Entrance to the temple is a grand hall with high ceilings overrun by plant life. Sunlight filters through cracks in the stone, illuminating intricate carvings on the walls depicting abstract and unsettling shapes. Excellent. There's going to be 2 broadleaf blights, so that's one thing we'll have to create, is we'll have to create those enemies, and that's totally fine. Let's hop back over to Foundry. The first thing I want to concentrate, though, on is when I was making the map, I put a light source here. So we're going to do that. We're going to add a light source. So if you go over here to light controls, you go here. I don't know if any of you have ever used Foundry. Let me know in the chat if you have. It's very easy to add some of this stuff. And actually, one thing I'm noticing is I want to actually change the configuration to change my grid to be size 25. Okay, that will make it so that everything is a little bit less big. There we go. Okay, and we'll worry about how that looks in a sec. So actually, I was wrong. The first thing we want to do is add the walls. Walls are very easy to add in Foundry. You want to use this little tool on the left, wall control, and then go to your regular walls. Now, there's a few different kinds of walls. There's just basic walls, which block everything from seeing through it. You have terrain walls, which are more like, I mean, the picture kind of does it justice. If you're outside, it's going to show you use those to block. So we'll use that on some of our pillars. We have invisible walls, which we're not going to probably use, but you could use those for windows. You could use those for anything that you might be able to see through, but not move through. Ethereal walls, I kind of block sight and hearing. We're not going to worry too much about that. We have doors. We're going to use a lot of those. Secret doors, we'll use a couple of those. And, oh, they've added windows. That's good. We won't need those. Okay, so we're just going to start with the regular walls. So first things first, I always draw them right in the center. That way, when you are playing as a character, you see the inside of the wall. So even though I can choose doors from that list, I'm actually just going to draw my door here, and I'm doing this by holding control. And then you just kind of click around, and super easy, barely an inconvenience. All right. I am, however, going to put a wall kind of off screen here, just so that people who are in this room cannot see. Now that I know I want this to be a wall, I'm going to double click on this little section, and I'm going to go to, what is it? Sorry, it's been a little while. They might have actually moved stuff. They move things a lot in here. Looks like a door is not in here anymore. Oh, there it is, door. Door configuration. I also swear, oh, it doesn't matter. All right, so the door is going to be closed to start off with. So cool, this room is perfect now. It's got walls. If I put a character in here, which I will do in just a moment. Actually, no, I'll do that right now. All right, so we're going to add an actor. And we're going to call this one, let's see. What should I name our character? Somebody throw out a name while I add a light source here. So I'm going to take this light source. What's the basic idea of this place? The basic idea of this place, good question. So this is the Temple of the Eldritch Echo. And it's basically a temple in the middle of the jungle, lies deep within a dense and overgrown jungle. Ancient and weathered stone structures are entwined with thick vines and moss. This kind of goes into it. But basically the idea is there's an Eldritch god that was attempting to be brought back by, call it a cult. And this is just a basic premise of a dungeon for that was created using AI and then a little bit of tweaking by myself. And then I went through Incarnate and kind of did everything. This is walking a player through all of the steps that I do to make something if I were to use AI from start to finish. The idea being that maybe this will be helpful to somebody who's new and wants to run things in Foundry. But that's the idea. All right. So we have an actor. I'm going to call it Emily. Because Emily is great. All right, so Emily is going to be our player character. Hey, thanks, Lost AI. Nice to see you. All right, so they've changed this around a little bit. I'm not going to worry too much about that. But Emily is going to be in here. Now, Emily has no sight because Emily has no sight. And that's okay. We're going to go back to our scene. No, get rid of Emily. All right, we're going to change our configuration. Lighting, we're going to allow token vision, which is good. Restrict visibility, but what we do want is we want like a global light. Because we don't want to have everything just be pitch black all the time. Viney McBlightface and Lady Blightfine. Well, those might be the bad guys, like the Broadleafs or whatever they were called that were going to be in here. All right, so we're going to have global illumination. By the way, Bodie McBoatface really just ruined every time anybody asked for anything. I'm going to have my global threshold for illumination be kind of low, though. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, yep. And a darkness level, I believe that this is what I want. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So, I'm infamous. You certainly are. Okay, so Emily's right here. I'm going to actually pop over to Midjourney. because we may as well. I'm going to say, let's see. What does Emily want to be? So Emily, you know what? I'm going to give you a chance. Type into the chat. Tell me what kind of character you are, what race you are, what you look like, etc., etc. And we're going to use you as our guinea pig. While we're doing that, so I'm going to go back over to Foundry. What you're seeing now is Emily's view. This is this character who likely has just no dark vision, no nothing. And they're humanoid, whatever else. They don't have any dark vision. So they're only seeing lit up things from within. This is the DM view. So I can see everything, of course, right? So what I want to do is go back to my lights. I am going to go into here and I'm going to change the emission angle from being 360, which is, you know, in a circle, to, let's go, I want it to be kind of like coming in through the wall. And then we're going to rotate it. There we go. And then I'm also going to make it bigger, which is going to be light radius. So it's going to be dim and bright. Dim is, these are more like D&D rules, right? So, but lighting is kind of I just do whatever looks right. So I'm going to have it be bright up to 30 and dim for like 15. All right. So now I've got this nice ray of light coming in here, and I'm actually going to give it a little bit of a color too. It's coming from the jungle. It's going to have like a bit of green coming from it, I think. Maybe just a bit. Yeah, there we go. So now it almost looks like a spotlight, so it's a little too bright. And once I figure this out once, I can copy this all over the place. So it's usually worth taking the time to get it right. Let's see. Emission angle, rotation, color intensity. We don't want super, super bright. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess that's okay. Oh, good, it is updating in real time. There we go. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Now if I switch back over to here, there we go. Cool. And then I'll move that just a tad. If you hold down Shift, you can move it specifically to where you want. Otherwise, it will snap. Okay. So Emily says that she wants to be a lawful neutral halfling cleric who channels negative energy and isn't particularly happy about it due to everyone thinking she's evil. Blue Dragonborn, and I don't know. Wait. You want to be a Blue Dragonborn. Okay, and you haven't... Okay, whatever. I'm gonna stick with the I'm gonna stick with the halfling because I actually think it will be a lot easier to generate that in Midjourney. But I'll throw one in there for Blue Dragonborn as well. All right, so we're gonna go with our usual prompts. We're gonna say, we'll just say, Dungeons and Dragons style character art. Halfling cleric. Okay. Let's just say let's say that she has white hair with a streak of black. I think that's cool. And wearing chainmail, shield. Let's say that you have a mace and heroic. And then we'll go with just that and see what that comes out. When I DM with RP tools, I give players a touch vision, the range of their bare-handed reach. That way, even in the dark, they can still see their token and the floor and wall around them. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. Although, I could see that becoming a problem. Yeah, you can see as far as you can reach, but, you know, be careful what you touch. Maybe some brown mold or whatever the heck they call it on the walls. I like that. Very cool. Yeah, and by all means, you know, you guys don't hesitate to hop in with just random stories about DMing and whatever else you think is cool. I like to read that kind of stuff. Ooh, this looks neat. I like the one on the top right. What the hell happened here? Oh, figures. It always does this. There. I like that one on the top right. I think that's you, Emily. Okay, cool. We're going to upscale that, which gives us a better quality version of it. We're going to open that in the browser, which gives us a PDF version of it. Not PDF, sorry, PNG version of it. And we're going to drag Emily over here to my file explorer. And then I'm also going to go over to the token stamp here, which you guys have seen before. And we're going to give Emily, we're going to make your... No, we don't want black because that's like, we want gray. We're going to go kind of dark gray. That's going to be you. All right, and then we're going to drag her in here. I do wish I had asked to put a background on there, but that's okay. It's too late. I could, you know, erase the background and throw something on there. And if I were running this game, I probably would. But just because this is kind of like a nothing so that we can have a character to throw in here, I'm going to skip all that. All right, so we're going to go back over to Foundry. And I'm going to do just a little bit of stuff over here for a second. We're going to drop Emily. This is Emily the Cleric. Emily the Cleric. Emily Clericson. Clericson. I like that. Okay, so this is going to be Emily Clericson's token. Okay. Now back into Foundry. We are going to grab over here. So this is Emily. We already know that. If we... Now they did change this around. So unfortunately this is kind of a little bit different than what I'm expecting. So I'm going to switch this back to what I'm expecting. But if you are used to using Foundry, this might not be what you are used to. Okay, so we are going to prototype this token, which means we're going to make the version of it that will always be what it is. Every time that you drop it onto the screen. All right, so what I like to do is when I make a new world, so I call this world live stream, I like to be obsessive with my folders. So we're going to have this be players. In here, I'm going to choose a file. We're going to upload Emily Clericson. And I believe this is the image path. So I like to do the main image first, and then I also do the token image after. So I do need to ask ChatGPT. Let me grab what you wrote, Emily. All right. I need you to create a level 4 cleric for me. Let's go over here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Her name is Emily Clericson, and she is, and then paste. Nope. Boom, boom. Emily is a lawful, neutral halfling cleric who channels negative energy and isn't particularly happy about it due to everyone thinking she's evil. Could you create a character sheet for me based off of this? Cool. All right, so while that's doing that, let's catch up on the chat. Let's see. Okay, cool. Halfling semi-evil, nice. Top right looks good. I can do top right. All right. Also, it made her with an axe, so we know Emily's deity has a favored weapon of an axe, since clerics generally don't get axes. That's a good point. I actually didn't pick up on that. Oh, well, she's got an axe. What's the name of this editor? So just all of the tools I'm using. So I use Incarnate for my maps. I use ChatGPT for, you know, the LLM stuff. I use Midjourney for the images. I use Token Stamp to make the tokens, which that might be what you're talking about. And Foundry VTT for the virtual tabletop. Let's see, what else? Anything else? Also, it should be Cleric's Daughter. Yeah, I was thinking about what that would be. Actually, you totally nailed that. I couldn't think of what it would be in the moment. Very good. Okay, so the image browser here, we're going to do Emily Clericson. Emily's currently dead, which is fun. Her token is actually going to be the token. Okay, so I had like a brain fart for a minute. I couldn't remember how to do this. Okay, her vision, being a halfling, she's gonna have dark vision, I believe. Pretty much everything has dark vision. But let's check out this. Okay, so Emily Clericson, a halfling cleric, level 4. She's an acolyte, lawful neutral. And apparently, you're worth some experience points if somebody kills you. You have 8 strength, 14 dex, 14 con, 10 int. 18 wisdom, okay, and then 12 charisma, proficiency bonus of 12. I'm not really gonna like judge this because it doesn't matter, but I do kind of want to put these stats in for fun. Insight, passive, blah blah blah. Equipment, chainmail, shield. Weapon is a mace, light crossbow, 20 bolts. Okay, so it has everything, and you are a halfling, so of course it's gonna give you lucky because that's kind of the best. Okay. That makes sense. Spellcasting, divine. Okay, and it has all these things. I'm not going to put all this stuff because it really doesn't matter, but let's see what it gave her for backstory. Emily Clarkson was raised in a temple dedicated to a neutral god who governs both life and death. From a young age, she showed an aptitude for the spiritual, particularly the more somber aspects of the clerical duties. However, her channeling of negative energy often made others uneasy, leading to whispers and suspicion about her true nature. Despite her dedication to the balance of life and death, she constantly struggles against the prejudices of those who see her powers as inherently evil. Cool. I actually think that's perfect for this character. Nice job, Emily. All right. So we'll just give her a couple of things real quick, just to have her have some stats. Whoops. That was not what I meant to do. Stop it. Sorry, everything's moving around on my screen. Okay. So she has... Okay, here we go. Strength of 8. Dex of 14, 14, 10, 18, and 12. Whoops. And you are going to be level... Let's update your user settings. Nope, that's not what I want. Man, they really changed everything around. I should have looked at this earlier. Sorry about that. She is going to be a level... Let's go to default, because maybe that's going to be a little easier to use. I'm also just going to call that... Oh, which screen am I showing? Okay, good. I'm going to call that just a sharp mace. It's a sharp mace. All right, so she's going to be... you know what? I'm done caring. I just want to make sure that she has dark vision. That's really the only thing I'm going to care about right now. Man, everything's just not where I expect it. It's funny, I haven't played in Foundry in like 3 months and everything is different. That's wonderful. I love that for me. That's right. This is not what I want. All right. Is this it? Oh, that's interesting. That lets you edit versus play. Interesting. Okay, so this is what we want. So we want short rest, long rest, special traits. I'm sorry, I feel bad that I'm figuring this out on a stream. I'm sure this is riveting content. More just need to figure it out. Okay, senses, here we go. Dark vision is going to be 60, and that's really the only thing I cared about. All right, now Emily can be on our table. Go away. All right, delete. Drag Emily back on here. So there she is. All right, let's switch. All right, Emily, you are starting at the beginning of the temple. There's this one little beam of light here. That's cool. I do want a couple more of these beams of light, so I'm going to grab this. Weird thing about Foundry, if you're ever using this in the future, if I like click on this light and then I hover over here and I hit Control-C, it's going to tell me it doesn't know what the heck I'm trying to copy. You actually have to hover over it while you're copying it, and then it will take it. So in case that helps anybody else in the future, that would have been nice for me to have learned from somebody. Hold Control and scroll your mouse wheel, and you can control the direction of the lights. And this one will go away. All right, now I could do something different and I could give this whole area some darkness, but I'm not going to. All right, so this first area, as I mentioned, this is going to have some enemies in it. The entrance to the temple is a grand hall with high ceilings overrun by plant life. Sunlight filters through cracks in the stone, illuminating intricate carvings on the walls depicting abstract and unsettling shapes. In this room, there are 2 vine blights. Okay, so let's go to the specifics of the entrance hall. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth and decay. A constant rustling sound like whispering wind can be heard as the plants move slightly. The air is humid and slightly oppressive. So I always give smell, sound, feel, ground, and ceiling in case you want to read any of those out to your characters or your players. All right, so the broadleaf blights, we are going to go down to them. So as a reminder, these are what the broadleaf blights look like, and I have their tokens all set up. I also have all of their stats here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create these broadleaf blights in Foundry, and we're going to find a nice little spot for them. So what we want to do is we want to create an actor, which is going to be an NPC, a non-player character. Boom. Oh, that's interesting. You can't see the drop down when I click it. All right, create new actor. This is going to be a broadleaf blight. Now, because these are going to be the same, doesn't really matter. like I don't have to worry too much about, what am I trying to say here? Because these are going to be reused, like I can kind of make their stat block once and then copy them as many times as I'd like. All right, let's see. I feel called out for my religion minor here. Halflings actually don't have dark vision. Really? Did I miss that? Thank you for that. Of course. Damn it, Emily, I'm blaming you for that one. You are super right, I'm sure. That is so funny. You know, you roll the dice on every single freaking thing in this game having dark vision, and we picked the one that doesn't. All right, let me get rid of the dark vision. That's actually fine because it will be interesting to see how that affects her going forward. Some of these rooms will be more dark. All right, so we're gonna make the Broadleaf blight here. Let's stop goofing around. So now once we have the Broadleaf blight created, what we need to do is add its stats, and then we need to add some artwork and all that stuff. So let's do this. I have this massive monitor, but it's still not enough room to have all this stuff on the screen and be able to kind of watch the chat and watch myself. You were talking about making your light sources and wanting to demonstrate it, so I specifically chose one that didn't. Yeah, thanks. Actually, that's probably good. Okay, so if I click on the little face here, we are going to go up one level. I have players. Now I'm also going to make monsters. Because who doesn't love monsters? Now, while I'm doing this, I'm actually going to take the time to just upload a few things. We're going to upload the Broadleaf blight first. Now, as I mentioned, I always make a token and a main artwork of everything because I like to be able to show the players what they're fighting in kind of a larger scale thing, as well as smaller. What is this? Oh, that was the one that I didn't use. Okay. So we're going to do Cavathos, drop him in there. We're going to have the Necro spider. Boom. Go into the last live stream I did. We're going to have, these are NPCs, but I'm going to leave them in here anyway. That's Larian, that's Arvander. We have the Straw Effigy. We have the Hand of Cavathos. And then we have the few things that I just created today. We have Eldritch Valdrin, the Eldritch Guardian. And then I think that's it. If we end up, we're going to need a black pudding at some point, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. If we get to it. I don't want to, kind of do the same thing over and over and over again because you guys will get bored. All right. So we have the Broadleaf blight. We have that guy there. So now we're going to go to the prototype token. We're going to go to appearance. And one thing that I learned over time is if you add the artwork first in the main area, it actually keeps the location that the other image was in, and it will put it here. So it's way easier to find your token if you do this one first. So if anybody's watching this in the future. So this guy is, he's medium. Okay, so he's a medium creature. Totally fine. What does he have? He has blind sight. So we want to give him blind sight. Which we might do another way. Let's give him vision. Doesn't really matter because you kind of just do whatever when you're playing. Update token. Oh, detection modes. I think I can give it to him here. Blind sight, there it is. All right, 30. He has a passive perception. Okay. And then you want to give the resources because this is something easy to see as a DM. You want hit points, sure. And then I usually put their AC, their armor class, because it just makes things easier to see over time. All right. Sorry, my contact lenses are really bothering me. Okay. So hit points. So first off, we're going to start off. He is a CR2. His alignment is unaligned. It is medium. His hit points are going to be 45. Nope, that was temp. 45 out of 45. This is actually not how I usually do this. Let's go back to tidy. That's better. Okay. And then we want to... that's where it is. Okay. There is a way to do the... Oh boy, that's interesting. I didn't know you could do that. Is this it? This is it. Health formula. Okay. So health formula is 68 plus 18. The only reason I cared about looking for that is because I might not want to give everybody 45 hit points. Sometimes I prefer to roll it. So now this guy has 38. Or if I roll it again, he's 46. But I am going to give him 45 and 45 just to start with, because that's what we are starting with. All right, his speed is going to be a 20 foot per round. 20 feet. His strength is 12. Dex is 10. Con is 16. Int is 1. The dumb as a rock. Wisdom 10 and Charisma 3. So he is not very... He has no Riz. His skills, he has Perception plus 2. Let's see. Show edit. All right, here they are, and there we are. All right, so usually if the perception is higher, or if it calls it out, you want to just hit, proficiency. Okay, damage immunities, poison, and psychic. So those are going to be down here. We have poison and psychic. Now this is the kind of stuff I would be doing like minutes before the games would start when I was running the campaign. So back when I was doing this, I would be very, very quick at doing a lot of this. Condition immunities. A lot of times I would actually even be doing some of these while the players were talking and stuff. It was a lot. Blinded, deafened, frightened, paralyzed, and poisoned. So it can't really be anything. Well, it's a plant monster. It makes sense for it to be potato level intellect for sure. What is RP tools? Is that a similar VTT? I have never used that before. All right, it has blind sight, which we've already taken care of. Passive perception of 12. Okay, which makes sense. It's right there. Does not speak any languages. I believe there's nothing that says like just none, right? I think you just leave it empty. Okay. And then it's a CR2. Cool. All right, so now this has basically, it has stats, but it doesn't have any actions. So that's the next thing that we want to add. So the Broadleaf Toxin has a multi-attack and a Vine Lash. So I have this mod installed. I'd call it a mod or an add-on, whatever you want to call it, where if I hit Control Space, it lets me search for stuff. So if I look for multi-attack, what I can do is grab the monster feature from the SRD and drop it in here. But I am going to want to edit that because, oh, that's cool. They've since changed this. That whole lookup name lowercase thing didn't used to exist. So a lot of times it would say like, the bugbear has a multi-attack or something like that, and you'd have to change it before you'd actually do anything. All right, so the Broadleaf Blight makes a number of attacks in one action. These attacks can be the same or whatever. Okay, so save that. Cool. It has a multi-attack, and that multi-attack is its Vine Lash. So let's do... Is Vine Whip? I think Vine something. Let's just go Lash. Is there something for a Lash? If not, we're just going to have to make our own thing. Okay. So... what does a Vine Blight have? Really? Do I not have... Oh. I know why. Alright. I'm going to go to the compendium for a minute. And we're just going to do the DB Muncher. This is another add-on. I actually pay for this. Monster Munch for patrons. Come on. I totally should have done this ahead of time. I'm sorry. Especially because it doesn't seem to be working. All right, let's go. I'm going to switch over to something else for you guys for a moment, just because I don't want you to see everything that I don't want you to see. This thing decides randomly to disconnect as well from things that I pay for, which is awesome. Let's see. This has... That's not what I want. This is going to take a moment. DDB importer. Okay. So you are here. DDB Muncher. Settings. Update existing things. Alright. Monster Munch. Oh, it's because I didn't spell Munch yet. Alright, so I'll have to do that. And then I'll have to do the monsters. Okay, well, while we're doing that, this is going to take a minute. So I am going to go back and we're going to draw some walls, just because we got to do it anyway. So let's go back to Foundry. Let's see, RP Tools, online tabletop, with scripting that you used when you DM'd in 2008 to 2016. Wow. Yeah, making enemies on the fly while the players are faffling about is a staple of Seat of Your Pants GM. Yep. Also, every dungeon needs a room for the wizard to cast Fireball in, a 30-foot radius, roundish room filled with lots of weak monsters. Yeah, that's a good point. I actually wish that I would have done something more specifically for that, but I did not. Now, this is active now, but it's still not. Use avatar image, use token image. All right. It's still being a jerk. I do support you on Patreon. Please log any bugs. Several settings if you're unaware of any blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. This really was one of those things I should have done ahead of time. And I can only remember to do so many things, I suppose. Now, when I have DDB importer saved, is it configured? Oh, that's why. I was clicking on the wrong thing. Okay, core setup. Most likely you won't see anything that you're not supposed to, but just in case. Check the cookie. That's a success. Detect my Patreon status. And here's what I needed to do. Okay, let's grab the GUID. This actually definitely would have been something. Oh, that you're totally seeing. Oh, well. Okay, that's fine. I don't care. There's a key, save, and then save. And now I have to reload everything. Damn. All right, there's Foundry. Everything's reloaded. Now we'll go to level 1. View scene. I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast Fireball. You're gonna hit us all. That's okay. All right, now I can DDB munch. There they are. Monster munch. Cool. There we go. I also think it probably wasn't letting me pull stuff down because... Yeah, okay. This is going at this point. It's going to take a minute, but that's okay. All right, so we are going to just add this one manually, because why not? Better than sitting here and waiting. Let's see. A Vine Lash is going to be a new attack. So we're going to add new. You guys are seeing me, right? Yep. Okay, cool. So we're going to do an add new. It's not going to be a weapon. It's going to be a... I always use the tidy stuff because it's way nicer. Except as I'm switching things over, it needs to change. This is actually going to be a new action, not a new weapon. Okay, new feature. Boom. Okay. Now let's make sure that this is good. Come on. Man, everything like reset itself. That's super annoying. I've had to update Foundry multiple times since the last time I live streamed too, so I suspect that's why. But I should be almost done doing all of this little setup stuff that I should have done earlier. Okay, so here's your details. Yay, we're finally there. Okay, feature type is going to be a monster feature. Excellent. The activation cost is going to be 1 action. Target is going to be, let's see, melee weapon attack, +3, reach 1 target. Okay, so this is going to be a target is a creature. Range is, keep losing track of that, 10 feet. 10. Duration is instant, I'm sure. Yep. Okay, limited uses, nope. All right, feature attack. Attack action is a melee weapon attack. Now this opens up a whole bunch more stuff that I can add here. Attack roll bonus is going to be a +3 to hit, which actually this could be... Man, my contacts are really just killing me. Like, I only put them in like 2 hours ago because I knew I was going to be streaming, and they're just bugging the heck out of me. Anyway, all right, the formula here is going to be, damage formula is going to be 1d10 +2, and it's going to be bludge. You can set all this kind of stuff up with RP tools, but I never really bothered. It was easy enough to just have the stat block. Yeah, totally. And if I was playing at a table, I would totally just have some stat blocks in front of me. And I would just roll, you know, but because I do a lot of this stuff online, makes more sense. Okay. On a hit, the target must succeed on a DC 13 con saving throw. All right, so the saving throw is going to be con versus DC of 5. Now that's because things haven't been set up properly yet. There it is. Saving throw is going to be versus, yep, 13 Constitution. There we go. Okay. Now this is going to be, we can just find a random image for this. There's icons. There's, you go to SVG, you go to, actually, we go to DDB images, monsters. Nope, that's not it. I'd have to go look at where that goes. Whatever, it's not going to have an image. I don't want to spend time on that. Okay, and then that should be good. So if we do, oh, I didn't name it. If we call this Vine Lash, and then we close this. So if I roll this, let's see what happens. So Vine Lash, I can attack with it. So let's do a regular roll. That's a 5, which is going to be +2, so that's an 8 to hit. So let's just pretend that this person sucks and I hit them. Then I roll damage. And you can automate all of this stuff with Foundry. So I did 9 points of damage, which, oof, that's tough. So if I, let's just, for the heck of it, go to this, and if I apply it to her, to Emily, Emily took damage. And where is her hit points? Oh, she doesn't have any, because it didn't ever set them. Whatever. She's got 45 hit points. Let's just say she has 45. I don't know why it's doing this. This is so bad. But the good news is I know that I'm going to need to pay extra attention to this before I run another game and not try to do this last minute. So that's good. Anyway, so we've got our Broadleaf Blight. He doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, but he does have a feature called Lingering Toxin. So we are going to create that as well. Lingering Toxin. Creature poisoned by the Broadleaf Toxin must make a DC 13 con save every 10 minutes. On a failed save, the creature remains poisoned. On a successful save, the creature is no longer poisoned. No, I didn't set Emily up properly because, again, I was trying to just do it quickly. So that's 100% why. Plus, I guess I probably don't need to just beat on her the entire time, although that would be kind of funny. So let's add the description here of Lingering Toxin. Grab that. Save. Cool. Details. This is really more something that you would want to go into the temporary effects and add poisoned and whatever else, but I don't have this all set up properly to do that. But the effects are something to explore. They're also a pain to use. So that's not something I'm going to try to take time on stream to figure out. The activation cost is going to be, there's really none. It's more if you get hit, then you just get it. All right. So the action type is going to be a saving throw, DC 13 con. Let's go like this again. Okay. I think that that's enough. Like, if I were running this, that would be fine. Most likely I would forget to even do it. All right, so there we go. So she has to roll a DC 13 saving throw. There's an 18. Emily rolled an 18 plus 2. Cool. All right. So she saved. Good job, Emily. Nice job. All right. So now this Vine Blight, this Broadleaf Blight, we are going to put him, we're going to put one right there, and we're going to put one right here, kind of in these big mess of vines. But I'm also going to make both of them invisible for the moment, which is this little guy right here. And obviously the reason for that is I don't want my players to just immediately walk in and be like, holy crap, fight! Even though that'd be kind of nice. Only thing I ever really asked for our RP tools was for it to show a map and let players move their dude around and make sure we were all seeing the same board. Yeah, I ended up using Roll20 before I found Foundry, and I've never looked back. I've always found Roll20 to be fine, but not fantastic. Anyway, all right. So now that we've kind of set up one guy, I'm going to set up like maybe one or two more. I don't want to do a ton because that's kind of a pain. So we're going to take our little Emily here, and she's going to make her way through this room, which is nice and big. It's actually bigger because I made everything kind of huge. I guess I don't really care, but in this case I am actually going to make this grid size to 50 instead of 25. And I think that's better because this room's supposed to be what, 30 by, yeah, so it's supposed to be 30. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's correct size. So that's what size this room's supposed to be. All right, so Emily comes over here and she's like, oh, look, a door. I'm going to open the door. Boom. But this doesn't make sense because I don't have any walls. And I can now see the whole world. So, as GM, I'm going to go and I'm going to just create a crap ton of walls. And I'm going to spend a minute doing that. So don't mind me. We're going to do a door here. Boom. And usually what I would end up doing is I would actually go back. I would go back to my maps. So like right here, you can see that the door doesn't really line up. I would probably go back to my map and move that door just slightly, just so it matches up with this. But anyway, there's a door here. Now there's a secret door over here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to grab this and we're going to make a secret door. And Emily's not going to know about this door. This is a secret door. But we still need to have our walls. Otherwise, secret door. Ah, stop it. Now, that second room that we were in, there's going to be some spiders in there, so that's going to be fun. You know, one thing that's interesting is you can't rely on AI to do everything for you. And I say that because even with this whole thing where I was kind of going out of my way to utilize AI for everything, I found myself, it was almost like I was lacking some stuff. And it didn't satisfy me creatively. So one of the things that happened in the last couple of weeks is I participated in a thing called Kraken Week, sorry, with a bunch of other tabletop RPG people. Now, one of the things that I was asked was, hey, you know what? Even though your channel is like very AI focused, can you try not to do AI only because we should, hold on. We want to support a bunch of creators who are not relying on AI. And, you know, AI does have its little bit of a controversy, you know, all that stuff. So I said, absolutely, that's totally fine. And that's why I ended up making that Kraken video that was more about like, hey, how did I use the Kraken in low level play? And I was fine with it, totally. But the more I use AI to make these dungeons, I think it's fantastic. But I also very much believe in what I've been telling people all along about use it to enhance or to do some of the drudgery. Don't use it as the entire creative process. You're right. The spiders totally could be fried by fireball. Anyway, so we've got some more walls here. This is another door. And if they select this door, they're going to go down to the next level. This one's going to be another secret door. Cool. All right, so now let's see what Emily sees. So Emily's, yeah, AI is a pen, not an author. I like that. That's a good way to think about it. All right, so Emily is seeing kind of like, well, let me get rid of, what is it? Where did it go? Is it this one? No, it's this one. Reset Fog of War. Totally doesn't make sense to be underneath light, but whatever. All right, so Emily's now in Spider Room, and we'll make some spiders in a moment. There's a bunch of other stuff here, including there's a little altar over here where if she were to check that out, I think there's a book, and there's a little bit of a story to tell you a little bit more about the jungle temple here that you're in. But ultimately, what Emily can see, she does not see this door. She would see this door, but she does not see this door. And if she were to go over here and open up if she like investigated, she would find a secret hallway that she could move through, and that kind of skips a trap room that she was about to go into. And now she's in this little reprieve area where she can actually take a short rest if she wants to. But if she goes over here and takes this door, she's going to get into this room where there's a bunch of traps. This is like a dart trap, this is a dart trap, this is a dart trap. There's some other traps in this room that like collapse the floor or whatnot. But ultimately, she gets through, and then we're here. And now she's going to make a decision. Does she want to jump down here, which there are some... it's not a good idea. Or she can go this way, and that's going to have her go down to the next level. So that's how we do this first level here. But now that we have our... we have all of our monsters munched. Well, the book yeah, you're right. The book in this room is important, and if he casts Fireball, it might be a problem. But you never know, you know, there's always repercussions, and I like to do that. There's a couple things that I really like to do. One is give the player repercussions. for doing silly things, but also put things in that look like they're important that totally aren't. So both of those things I enjoy. All right, so we're going to make the Necro Spider next. So this guy's going to be, and I'm kind of getting back in the swing of things here. It's 14 strength, 16 dex, 12 con, 3 int, 11 wisdom, 4 charisma. And it is a CR2. Its a creature type is going to be, it's undead, and it's large. So it's an undead spider. It's going to be large. Let's grab our, oh, that's funny. It's putting me back in the main game that I did. So this is going to be monsters. We have the Necro Spider as our main image. And then we have the prototype token. We're going to do an appearance. We're going to do Necro Spider token. Does Necro Spider token have any... It does have 60 dark vision. Vision range 60. Give it vision. Okay. Update token. Excellent. I also don't think I updated the armor class on the Broadleaf. No, I sure didn't. Broadleaf is going to have a 13 armor class, which is going to be natural. Natty. Alright. Update. Cool. Now, Necro Spider is going to have 13 natural armor as well. Let's go natural. Let's see. Hit points are 32, or more specifically, its health formula is 5d10 plus 5. Dice. Alright, so we're just going to give it 32 out of 32. Cool. Speed is 30 feet. Climbing. And 30 feet walking. It's going to have proficiency in stealth. Actually, it has expertise in stealth. And proficiency in perception. It's no languages, resistant to necrotic. Sorry. Necrotic. All right. Immune to poisoned. Makes sense. And condition immunities to poison. Excellent. All right. So now here's the good thing. This undead fortitude is a thing that exists, so we can already add that. That's cool. Web walker is a thing, so we can add that. This is technically a homebrew monster, but it's very much based off just a regular spider. Multi-attack, again. Grab that as a monster feature. We go bite, which definitely exists. We're going to want to change that a little bit. So it's going to have a +5 to hit. Okay, so we are going to change this one around. And its bonus is going to be a +5. We're going to make that flat so it doesn't fiddle around. 5 feet. Okay. Hit 7, 1d8. So its damage formula is going to be 1d8 plus 3 piercing. Okay. Plus 7 poison damage. So 7 or 2d6. Wait, we're gonna do plus 2d6 poison damage. Okay. Wow, this guy's beefy. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 11 con saving throw or be poisoned for 1 hour. Okay. Saving throw is Constitution versus Constitution. That's DC 11. Perfect. Okay. This guy came along a little bit better than the last one. Description. And then we could change this description. We should change this description. Melee weapon attack is 5. Reach 5. Hit. So what I would actually normally do is just grab the description from There we go. From there and then there. Cool. And then there's also leg spike, which I don't believe is a thing. Nope. All right, so we are pretty much just going to copy bite. Can we copy bite? Nah, let's just do this. We'll do leg spike, which is going to be a melee weapon attack. Melee. +5 to hit. Cool. Now one of its ability modifiers is going to be what gives it the specific bonus, but I'm not sure which one it is. Let's see. It's going to have a 10 reach. Action. There we go. Target creature. Range 10. One target. Okay. And then the damage formula again is going to be 1d10 plus 3. Whoops. Plus 3. And that's going to be piercing. Alright, cool. So this is a leg spike. And let's just see what that does. Leg spike does... Roll to 2. 7. So it's +5. That's cool. And then the damage is going to be 2 plus 3. Or it's 1d10 plus 3? Yes, that's correct. Awesome. All right, so that's working. Excellent. All right, so the Necro Spider is done. So we can grab this guy, and I usually do like monsters. Sometimes I will actually do my folders based off the rooms, but that doesn't matter. Let's get Emily up. Nah, whatever. All right, so we'll grab Necro Spider. This is going to be an... Ooh, he's a big boy. All right, Necro Spider is going to be as soon as you walk in the room, and maybe there's another one down here. I think that I had said that there were going to be 2 of them in the worship chamber. The enemies in here, there's 3 Necro Spiders. Holy crap. My players are going to die. All right, well, why not? We've got Emily, and you know, this is good because you could totally modify this based off how many players you have too. So not a big deal. But I would not want to be in Emily's shoes right now. Let's see. The Orb of Locks. The 6-inch diameter stone sphere is covered in keyholes and looks important. It does nothing else. You can use it to practice lockpicking, I guess. I love that. Wings of Falling. When worn on the back, provides a fly speed of 100 for 1 round, without telling you in advance that it's only for 1 round. Oh, those are both awesome. I love those. Okay, so in this room, we're going to have a treasure. So something that we could do, I don't always do this. Actually, I rarely do this. So what you can do is you could create a journal entry. And let's just do this. Tablet 1. And tablet 1 is located on the altar. In the tablet, or on the tablet, that's actually not... I could just add a page. Yeah, let's just go page 1. There's a better way to do this. Yeah, this isn't what I want. I actually want... I could create an item and just make it text. But I feel like that's not what I want either. Well, realistically, if I was doing this, I would probably go out of my way to make like a tablet. So actually, I'm not going to go totally and do this because I think it would be kind of a waste of time. But I do want to show you if I were to be doing this myself. So let's get rid of Emily for a sec. So we got, imagine a stone tablet with no writing on it. Template. I think that might work. Because then I could have this as my image, and I could use Photoshop to actually put the text on it, and that would look pretty cool. Put the 3rd Necro Spider above the book on the ceiling, hiding so it can drop on the player and ambush them when they go for the book, which is connected by a thread to a sleeping spider's web. Yeah, I think if I were to reread the notes here, let's see. The spiders have made their home in the dark corners of the chamber. Their webs hang like tattered drapery from the statues and ceiling. Any failed check to decipher the tablet pieces will lock the room and release 3 necro spiders to attack the players. That's what it was. Okay, I knew that they weren't just there because that feels cruel. So all 3 of these guys are going to be... Let's go back to D&D. I know, Foundry. All 3 of these guys are actually going to be hidden until such time that they fail, which is good, because otherwise they're just going to shut the door and they're going to come up with a better plan. Obviously, the spider webs are going to be a little bit of a hint that maybe some spiders are around, but also it's an abandoned temple. Like, that doesn't mean that there aren't spiders hanging around. Cool. Man, this looks fun. Kill the spiders. Yeah. that was kind of in line with what I was talking about. And that theme comes up a few times of, if you try something, you better not screw it up. That comes up a few times here. Okay, actually, so this came out okay. So if I were to upscale number 2 and grab this as like a tablet, I could absolutely throw this into Photoshop, which I don't have any way to share Photoshop. Well, I could share Photoshop, but I'm not going to. It would be very easy, and I'm sure you could imagine what it would look like if I were to just add some sort of like an engraved text into that. So I would probably do that personally, and then I would add it as an item in here. But that's, that's fine. We don't need to go into that. All right, so I'm having a little bit of a fun time here now. Dealing with some of those immediate technical issues were a pain. All right, so our heroine, Emily, she kicks this, she went down here, she read the book, and as she's reading the book, she finds one of the tablets. And as the GM, I need to remember where my tablets are. So I'm going to say there's one tablet located on the altar. So I'm actually going to have this there, but I'm going to just make it like invisible. I could do any number of things. Most likely, like I said, I would have an item, and then you would do it with a tile control. And then when they come over to it, I would just show it to them, and that would be great. So there's a tablet piece here. There's another one hidden in the hollow base of one of the Eldritch statues, which there are statues. There's one here, and there's one here. I hope I'm on the right screen. I'm probably not. Yes, I am. Good. There's one on the top left, one on the bottom left, and one on the top right. And I'll let you in on a little secret. It's going to be in whichever one they investigate. And then there's a third one that you have to roll a DC 15 investigation check to find concealed under a section of the cracked floor tiles. Now, here's the thing. They don't know that these tablets exist, so there's the very obvious one that's on here. Now, that tablet is actually going to be like tablet number 3 or something like that. That way they know that there's probably 2 more tablets to find, and they're going to start searching around this room. Now, each one of the tablets has to have a DC 15 to find it, so it's very likely that somebody's going to fail. So now they're going to fight some spiders. But let's do this. Move that spider out of the way. Let's see how Emily fares. So Emily, I am going to take 2 seconds and try to fix Emily, because this is driving me nuts that she is not correct. Okay, let's go back to tidy 5e. All right. Emily she's going to have 45 hit points because she is. Part of the problem is I'm used to doing this via a D&D Beyond import. So it's not something that I just know where these things are. Bar data 0. So I think you're probably right. Maybe I have to give her like levels. No, that's exhaustion. That might be it. She needs levels. Let's go light. User settings. Player. No, that's not going to be it. Alright, she's going to have, I think, halflings get 25, maybe. It's really got to be a way to do this. Emily Clerickson. I guess I'll just do this. She has 45 hit points. There. I didn't set any of her proficiencies or anything like that. The fact that she's at level 0, I think, is part of the problem. I know that she's going to have wisdom be her main thing. I think part of it is like there's a lot wrong with her character, which is why I think I'm just going to stop trying. She needs to have levels. We need to tell them that she's a cleric. All of these things. So whatever. She's gonna roll perception, I believe. No, investigation. She's gonna roll investigation. She has a 0 at the moment, which I'm sure is wrong. Oh, she had a 15 for a second. But she rolled a 7. Okay, so Emily's getting attacked by 3 spiders. Maybe I'll drop 1 spider for each time that they fail. That way it's less of a just defend yourself against these giant spiders and more this is what happens when you fail. All right, either way, Emily is fantastic, and she single-handedly kills all of the spiders. And they be dead. And now she is going to go into this room, which, room number 3 is a trap room. This is the Hall of Trials. Where are torches? Zombie spiders die with fire. In this room, actually, that was another thing I probably could have done, is I could have grabbed a couple of these lights, because there are some things coming from here. There's another one coming from here. Come on. There we go. And then one more coming from here. Wish there was a faster way to do... Well, I guess I could hold shift. I think that goes faster. There we go. All right. Cool. Now, there's no light in this one. At least nothing out of the ordinary. And I would probably actually reduce the light in everywhere. But that would make for a very awful... What's up, Clifton? No, clicking the level 0 doesn't let me set it either. I thought about that because it's... And the edit button doesn't do it either. There's something I'm missing here. I think maybe, like... Can I just add a class? Level 1. Next. Sure, next. I'll just hit next. Complete. All right, so now she's a level 1 cleric. So that was part of it. But again, that's something I would have to... That's awful that I have to add another one for each level. Oh, that's brutal. Roll a d8. Channel Divinity, complete. Cleric, again. Roll a d8. She gets 3. Cleric, one more time. That's awful. I hate that that's how they have you do it. Like, I guess I don't really know what else they would do, but that's still annoying. All right, so now she's level 4. That's fine. Okay. That's wild. I called for snakes. No, I didn't add any snakes because this is an Eldritch horror situation, and there's going to be enough scary, spooky stuff. All right, so the Hall of Trials here. So this hall here has a narrow hallway with pressure plates on the floor. Some plates trigger darts, while others cause bursts of flame. The walls are adorned with faded murals depicting trials and tribulations faced by ancient worshippers. The floor in one area is noticeably cleaner than the rest, hinting at hidden dangers. Okay. So there's no enemies in here directly, but the traps serve as the primary challenge. Pressure plates. So we're going to just kind of do this. And if I was running this, I would kind of be like, all right, if any of the players step here or like here, then they need to, that's the pressure plate. But the one trick is that you also need to make sure your players aren't seeing these things. So you want to do that, and then you hide them, and now you can still see them, but the players can't. There's other ways to do that too. That's just how I would probably do it. I try not to do too many traps on the floor like that because it is kind of not easy in Foundry. If I were doing it in real life, I think it'd be easier. A chunk. All right, so fire, poison, darts, dealing 1d6 piercing damage. Okay, flame traps. Releases a burst of flame, and then there's a collapsing floor. Sections of the floor that drop away, potentially leading to lower levels. The cleaner area of the floor indicates where the gelatinous cube reaches. Oh, that's right. So we had talked about this in the first one. I want to play a brawny tank of a guy, but dumb AF. Glorious nips, though, of course. Of course you do, Clifton. Okay, so I actually might even do this because it'd be more fun. Like this area right here, if you step over here, which most likely they're not going to, unless they're really crowding, then they'll have to roll a save. and the floor will drop away, and suddenly gelatinous cube, boom, is waiting for them there. Now, a gelatinous cube, for those of you that don't know, is kind of this totally transparent. If it doesn't move, you can't see anything. But it's basically a giant cube of, like, acid, I guess. If you fall into it, very hard to get out, and you're taking damage for every second that or every round that you're in there. So you definitely don't want to end up in that thing. But maybe I'll even, I don't know, maybe I'd put it like over here instead. That might be better, but whatever, it doesn't matter. If the player drops down into that, they're going to start getting sucked up by the gelatinous cube, and people are going to have to rescue them. But our intrepid adventurer, Emily, she goes, huh, and then she goes, oh no, I stepped on a flame trap. Now, here's something that's really cool that we can do. In the tile control, we can go into here. That's not what I wanted. In the tile control, you can search for tiles. So there's a thing called moulinette or moulinet. I don't really know how you say that. But you can find tiles and tokens. I gotta authenticate. Hold on. There are lots and lots of things that you can use, so this is going to be worth it to authenticate. Give me a sec. I'm going to actually do what I attempted to do last time. Oh, sign in with Patreon. I'm going to switch over to notes. All right, let's do this. And I know that it did it last time too, so let's do this. All right, successfully logged in. That one's a little nicer. That doesn't just give away all my information. Foundry. All right, cool. So we're back here. All right. Tiles and tokens. Oh, it's loading up a bunch of stuff. Fantastic. All right. Fire. No results found, I think. All right, here we go. So we're going to grab this guy right here because this looks cool. Pack on, I don't know what this is. Oh, I have to pay for that? No, I don't want to do that. There are free ones that I can use. You have access to online content from creators who I support. Okay, so let's try this again. No results found. That's strange. Well, that was annoying. I was hoping to show that off, but I'm not going to spend time doing that. I'll have to figure out why I don't have access to the things I'm supposed to have access to. Oh, I have to select a creator first. See, I support a bunch of creators too, so that's what it's strange to me. All right, whatever. I'm not going to waste time. So I would be able to have like a fire GIF going, which looks way better, of course, than just having a flame on the screen. But anyway, so poor little Emily here gets hit by a flame trap. Now the flame trap is 2d6 damage to anyone within a 5-foot radius, so that's going to get her and everybody around her. These can be discovered with a successful investigation check, triggered by stepping on a specific... All right, so she doesn't even have like a dex save or anything. She's just going to take her roll 2d6. She's going to take 10 points of damage. Oof. Emily, bad job. All right, so the resources should have... let's do always for everyone so you guys can see these. So she's got a little bit of her damage. Now she's also going to just kind of go like do, and she gets away safely. Yay. All right, so now she's in this room number 4. And room number 4 is the Overgrown Sanctuary. The room is filled with dense plant life and strange glowing fungi. Now, it looks like I left out the fungus, but that's okay because I know I have them in the next one. Let's see. The walls are covered with thick vines and the air is humid and heavy. The plants here have grown unchecked for centuries, creating a tangled but relatively safe environment. A fountain with fresh drinkable water sits in the center of the room, providing a rare oasis of tranquility. So if she's like, oh, you know what, this room's kind of cool, let me look around a little bit. Okay, go ahead and roll investigation. Let's see what she learns. Ooh, an 18. And keep in mind, she would have done even better because she just doesn't have stats right now. So in this room, I have... Let me make sure I'm... Okay. In this room... In the center of the room is a stone fountain with fresh, clean water. Drinking from the fountain can restore 1d4 hit points once per day. Hidden within the fountain is a scroll of haste unlocked by solving a riddle. So with that investigation check, I would probably tell her something like, you know, the water looks pretty clean. You know, there's a couple of books on the table. And you notice that the with an 18, I think that's pretty good. I'd say the vines that are leading down into this this hole over here, they're not entirely still, and you're not feeling any wind moving through this room. Now, of course, that's going to put her on high alert. Okay, there's an enemy. I better be careful. I don't want to stay in this room forever. And even if she does ask, you know, some questions, I might give her a little bit more. But what I want her to learn from that is that maybe don't go near those vines, because the idea is you want to go through this door down here. But if somebody was creative and was like, hey, I want to jump on these vines and climb down, I would tell them that it led down to the floor below, but those vines are a problem. However, so as she's standing near the fountain, I give her this this little riddle. I run, yet I have no feet. I roar, yet I have no mouth. I can calm your spirit or drown your despair. What am I? And the answer to that, I believe, I looked it up before. That's funny, I didn't write it down in my notes. I think it's like a river. Yeah. No, because a river has a mouth. Maybe it was like a fountain or something like that. I don't remember. Let's find out what the answer was. Maybe I'm not so good at... I run... Yes. All right. So what is the answer to the riddle? It's just water. Okay. So the answer is water. Bourbonating. Okay. So... Anyway, so she's like, oh, water. And then she can find a little scroll of haste, which is great. So now she's going to get a scroll of haste, which I do not have as a specific scroll, and it doesn't have that. So there's just, you could just do scroll. Let's see, what level is haste? I'd guess it's probably like 3. It is 3. Cool. So scroll, 3rd level. She's going to get this little 3rd level scroll into her inventory. And I would just kind of go in here and be like, haste. Cool. And when she chooses to use that, she can have it. Excellent. All right, so now she's in this room. She's doing like a little short rest. Let's make her do a short rest. And she's going to roll like once. Oh, I didn't have her roll, but I probably would. Let's roll. She gets 2 extra hit points, and then she gets 7 extra hit points. So now she's back up to full. Excellent. All right, now she's going to go down to the next level. Now, this is how you do the next level. You go to your level 2, which we've already added our map to. Now, here's the one thing. I can't just grab her character. I mean, I could copy it. I could literally copy it and then just paste it in here. But as you see, first off, she's the wrong size. The map is the wrong size. Everything's the wrong size. We're going to do 50. That's good. Perfect. That's a little better. All right. So in this lower level, we have hints follow the rule of 3. Players will reach wrong conclusions and pick silly answers and decide they're correct despite all evidence to the contrary. Yeah. I will say that I don't think that my players did a whole lot of solving of riddles. But, you know, Clifton's here. I should be nice. All right, so this room doesn't have any walls. It doesn't have any light on this level. And actually, now that we're a little lower, I'm not going to give it any light. This is going to be much darker down here. So we're going to go to lighting. We're going to go to global illumination threshold is going to be 1. Token vision is on. Darkness level is... I think we're going to go to like 0.8. Yeah. So it's going to be pretty dark unless she decides to light a torch. Which, do I have that set up? No, I don't. That's okay. Setting up light sources. Your character currently has no light sources in there. Oh, okay. So let's do this. She's going to have some torches because of course she would. You're not going to go into a place like this without a torch. She's going to have 4 torches on her. All right. So now if I do this, I can hit that and now she has a torch. Ooh, that looks cool. All right. So our little halfling is brave. Now, if you look in here fairly close, there's these wall sconces that do not have a light on them. but we are going to make them so that they can if we want to. And more so, we're going to give them some light animations, which is not something that we did last time. We're going to add torch as the light animation, which is going to be kind of like a nice little flicker. Basic configuration. I want this to be a light radius of 10 dim and 20 bright, because I believe that's actually what the DMG says it should be. Whoops. Stop it. All right, so copy that, put that there. What am I doing? Shift? Yeah. All right, copy that, put that there. Shift, put it where it belongs. Copy that, put that there. Now this looks like a whole lot of stuff, and it is. And I'm turning them all off. So poor little Emily here is walking through this room. She's got her torch, and she walks over and she says like, "Oh, I want to light this torch." Cool, you lit it. Now you got a little bit more light. I want to light this one too. Cool, you got a little bit more light. And everything is nice. I'm not sure why this one doesn't seem to be blinking as much as this one does, but whatever. I lit all 4 of the sconces, and they all look great, and they're all lit, and everybody's happy. Now, in this room, we have another one of our monsters. But it's just kind of hanging out. This is going to be the straw effigy, which is what it looks like this. Straw effigy is basically the people that are the what'd you call it? The bad guys. Straw effigy. They created this straw effigy to represent the Eldritch god that they are bringing back. So we're gonna add our image. We're gonna add our token. I have all of the information about the effigy of Kathos. It's actually not called the straw effigy. It's called the effigy of Kavathos. Sorry. I actually do want this to be always for the owner, which is just me. Okay, it's going to be hostile. Let's grab its stuff. So it's going to be a large construct, so it's big. It is going to have a speed. I think it was fast. Yeah, it's got a speed of 40. So this thing can move. Its strength is 18, 14 dex, 18 con, 3 wisdom. 3 int, 11 wisdom, and 1 charisma. For what it's worth, by the way, after the stream today, I'm going to put something up on the Patreon with a lot more of these. I'll probably link over to the document and maybe to all the images and stuff. So if you're interested, I'll put that at the lowest tier. Just, have you guys check that out. There's a free option as well, so go check that out. All right. Yes, I did consider the idea that there would be a rogue in the group, and hopefully there would be, and that's what the traps are for, but they'll survive them if they don't. Okay. So it's going to have 13 natural armor. Okay. Its hit points are huge, though. Part of it is we don't know if they actually are going to fight this guy. So it's going to be 12 d10 plus 48, or 114 hit points, which is huge, but it's going to be alone, so that shouldn't be too terrible. Let's see. It's going to have... let's see. Has dark vision, of course. Of course. Every damn thing. Okay. Damage immunities, poison and psychic. Poison and psychic. Condition immunities. I also am thinking I would probably, even though a lot of you guys are watching this, I think it would be kind of fun to run this as just a quick little one-off for the patrons. So if anybody is interested in joining in on that, join the Patreon. And we'll look to do that sometime soon. Understands the language of its creator, but can't speak. So I'm going to give that, I think it's called deep speech. No, not deep speech. What is it? Yeah, I think it's deep speech, right? That's the Eldritch kind of thing. Let's see, D&D Beyond. Oh boy, there's a lot of these. All right, I don't care. I would figure that out later. All right, and its challenge rating is going to be 7. Cool. That's a huge challenge rating. This is going to be a tough fight. It's not proficient in anything, which is interesting. You don't see that very often. All right, so it's going to have a multi-attack. So here's the thing. I'm not really going to do all of these because I don't want to add all of... I just don't want to take the time to do it. But I am going to add the effigy of Cavathos right here. I'm actually going to also change... I don't want him to be huge or large. I want him to be medium. Because I want him to sit on this thing here. And I'm going to add him right there. And he's just going to hang out. So the effigy of Cavathos is... He's got a multi-attack, a slam, rusty wire tentacles, and burning hands. So that's cool. He's got magic resistance. He's immutable. Let's see. There are 4 unlit sconces in the room. If any of the sconces are lit, the effigy will come to life and attack the intruders. Perfect. So I totally forgot about that, which is awesome because now he's coming to life and he's like, "Sup, Emily?" And Emily's like, "Oh, crap." No, it totally does. You're right. I would probably lower his CR to like 5 or something like that. I'd have to compute it. I'm not going to bother, but he's a 5 now. If you defeat him, you end up getting 2 potions of greater healing. So this is just pretty much a fight. There's not a whole lot going on in this room. I believe that book on the table has something going on, but I'm not too worried about it. I would figure that out as we go. The effigy is about 9 feet tall, so yeah, I mean, he's huge. What the hell? He's big. He's big again. Let's make him a big boy. He's like Clifton. He's huge. That's cool though. You know, actually, if you think about it, you walk in here and it's just asleep, or it doesn't seem to be moving or anything like that. That's not terrible. Leave a clue somewhere that lighting the torches causes effigy fight. Yeah, I thought about that. My only thinking is if I really go out of my way to talk about how the air in this room is dry and, you know, this thing seems to be made out of straw, that might be enough of a hint to cause them to not light the torches. Or it might not be. I also might make it a little harder if there's like 4 or 5 players, or a little easier if there's, 2. Certainly not going to throw 114 hit points at 2 players who have already gotten beat up a little bit. But anyway, all right, so let's keep going. So we've got our... Do we have walls yet? Did I do walls? I don't think I did walls. All right, so we're going to add some walls. And a door. And we're going to do something we didn't do before. We're going to make these pillars into walls. So you can't move through them. You can't see through them. But he can't target you through them either. Now, I don't really like using the landscape ones. I know I talked about them earlier. I never really figured out how to make them work correctly. They just kind of don't work correctly. So I'm not going to bother. All right. Yeah, come on. Okay. Cool. So now, as Emily moves around the room, you can see that there's stuff going on here. Now, what I could use those landscape walls for is the altar. But then again, somebody's going to jump up on the altar. But like now you can't pass through it, but you can see it and it exists. But it's a little weird. Like, it's not high enough to really block your vision, so I would probably leave that off. Anyway, so Emily emerges victorious, and she goes down here, and I still haven't made this wall into a door yet. All right, so that's a door. And Emily's like, "Screw you, effigy of Cavathos. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to go to the next room." Now, this next room is the Library of Ancients. They were a weird bunch, yeah. So this room, I'm not going to bother creating the NPCs. You've already seen me kind of do that and everything. But just remember that we have a couple of NPCs that are in this room. There's Larian and Arvander, and they're both wraiths. And the idea is that they are there to give you more information. If you decide to mess with them, they will attack you. But there's a lot of stuff in this room. It's a library of sorts. It's already been kind of destroyed, and they're going to have a lot of information. If you were to talk to them and convince them, Arvander has some information about the history of the cult of Cavathos and their rituals. So he might be able to tell you some information about how to get through that last room where there was blood on the floor and you had to figure out how to open up the secret passageway. Maybe he'll give you some information about that. Like, in the final library, look at something else. I don't know. I'd have to improvise. The layout of the temple and the location of important rooms, I'd probably leave that one out. And the dangers of summoning Cavathos and the price of seeking his knowledge. Maybe. I mean, you could use that for a little lore. That'd be fun. And then Larian, who's the female specter, details about the dark rituals and the powers granted by Cavathos, hints about the weaknesses of Cavathos and how to exploit them, and clues about the hidden chambers and secrets within the temple. And there is one more hidden chamber, I believe. Yeah, exactly. The landscape walls are kind of silly. Have your wall be on the part of the art where the wall is, but the landscape wall marks the part of the wall inside that which is giving the top-down perspective of wall being inside the wall line. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. That actually wouldn't be terrible. But whatever. Okay, so she's talking to the two specters, and she continues. There is another. I haven't done the walls in this room yet. All right, let's do that. Boom, boom, boom. Again, I would probably change where that door is, but maybe not. That seems to work. And then this is going to be a door. Cool. Emily goes through the door. Now this room, I actually really like this room. I think this came out really cool. Is basically each one of these mirrors that's on the wall will show you something different. And it's kind of like a spooky room. You could really get creative if you took the time to think of how each person would interpret what they're seeing. But if you think about it, oh, that's right. So every mirror that they choose to look in, I have them roll a 1d10, and then there's 10 different mirrors. One of terror, which they have to save a wisdom throw against. The player's reflection reaches out and tries to pull them in. They have to make a dex saving throw or take 2d6 necrotic damage. Mirror of echoes. The player hears whispers and it reveals a hidden door in the corridor, which happens to be, I believe. I had something up here at one point, but I think maybe I chose not to add it. Oh, that's right. It was Mirror of Clarity. The player's reflection reveals a clue about the next room's puzzle. No, there was one of these about. Hidden compartment. Behind one of the mirrors discovered with a successful DC 15 investigation check is a small hidden compartment containing a wand of magic missiles. But I think somebody in the last time we streamed had a really good idea, and they said that if they... I should change one of the mirrors to show a reflection of like a hidden chest in the room. And if they look, they can see the hidden chest, but if they turn around, it's like they don't see it, but they have to open it while looking at the mirror. Something like that. And that would have the wand of magic missiles in it. So that would be cool. All right, Emily comes over here, opens up the door. She's going to the next spot. And this is another room. This is the Dark Nexus. So it's a central chamber shrouded in darkness. So actually, I would probably use a light source here that emitted darkness instead of light. So I would have it emit black. Darkness source blocks light and vision and suppresses light. Oh, that's new. Oh, that's even better. Ooh, I like it. So she would have to have her torch going, I think, which... Okay, no, because that's totally suppressing light. That's not quite what I wanted, but that is cool to know that that exists. I do believe that I had done this in the past, maybe by doing like -20 and a -40. Nope. Does this work? No, it has to be 0. Okay. There is a way to make it show black. Like make it emit black rather than light. So it's something I would have to figure out, but either way, I would want this room to be more dark than it should be otherwise. Or maybe I just say like, hey, your torch goes out and now you're just left in the dark. That would probably be an easy way to deal with it. So, in the dark nexus, essential chamber shrouded in darkness, strange glowing mushrooms provide dim light. Okay, so we want the mushrooms over here to be emitting some sort of funky light. So let's make that light purple, because they're kind of purple. We're going to give it a light animation of pulsing wave. Or, radial? No, we don't want rainbow. Energy field? Yeah, that's the one. All right, so these things have this funky little purple hue that's like the only thing you can see. That's a little too bright. Let's have it just be dim and no bright light. There we go. All right, so let's see what Emily can see. Still very bright. Is that because there's no walls in here? And there might be some global illumination. Let's try that. Okay. Door. Boom. Alright, let's see what Emily sees now. It's still pretty bright. I don't like it. I don't want it to be so bright. Alright, how do I make it? Color intensity, lower that. How's this? Still bright. One more try and then I give up. Light radius is going to be 10. With like a 2 brightness. Constrained by walls, constrained by elevation, emission angle, rotation angle, color intensity is low. Darkness, okay. Well, that might be the best I can do. Yeah, whatever. Positive light value, negative radius. Is that what it is? I know I've done it before. No. I tried doing a negative light radius, and that didn't work. It's probably just the darkness source, and then some way to deal with it. Maybe they changed the way it worked. Anyway, so you have this little bit of a thing here with a pulse. It does show up a little bit better than I think it does on stream. But let's make sure of that. Animation intensity. Nah. I think it's because it's so dim. 15, 5. Okay. Whatever. Okay, so glowing mushrooms, ancient runes carved into the stone walls, broken ritual implements, large cracked stone altar, chains hanging from the walls, rusted and broken, hinting at past sacrifices. So part of the problem here is that if she doesn't have a light, then you don't see like anything, and that's kind of no fun. So maybe I would make. Maybe I could put some lights on the wall. That would just be like small little torches like that. And I could add those in the map later. Just so that there's a little extra to see. That's not terrible. It doesn't really defeat the purpose of this room. If anything, it kind of gives it a purpose. But having her torch extinguished might just kind of creep her out a bit. All right. So in this room, oh, that's right. In this room is the Hand of Cavathos. So this was like a kind of a, think Legend of Zelda. You've got this hand that kind of comes out of the wall, and the hand can grab you and hurts you. It doesn't, take you back to the beginning of the of the temple, although, that would be awful. But there's also black jellies in here, or black jelly, I think. Black pudding. There's black puddings in here as well. Now I didn't. That looks awful. Black pudding. I did not add. There we go. Man, that's huge too. Black puddings are huge. Are they large? Yeah. Wow. I had it so the black puddings show up once every 5 minutes, and then they come after you, or five rounds I think. So every like 30 seconds, which feels a little bit fast. I'd probably change that. There is a riddle in this room. In darkened halls where shadows lie, the one who whispers drawing nigh. His touch brings fear, his voice does bind. What name is he who plagues the mind? Now, at this point, if they haven't read any of the books and they've skipped everything, they'll have no clue. But if they've read anything, they'll probably have a good idea. And if they say the name, then they're good. And then this door over here would open, which She can't even see because it's so dark in here. That's interesting. But somebody with dark vision might be able to. Anyway, so she goes down, and now she's going to level 3. Cool. Level 3. Let's generate a thumbnail. Generate thumbnail. Level 3 is going to be 50. So here's what I'm going to do with level 3. I'm kind of nearing the end of where I wanted to stream, and that's fine. I also just, don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again because I think it will get boring. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to personally finish this map, and like I mentioned, if there's some people in the Patreon that want to play, I think it'd be kind of fun. I like that idea with the glowing mushroom. I think it'd be fun to run this, and we could even stream it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And yeah, so I'll leave it at that. I won't give you guys too many of the hints about this area. People who haven't necessarily seen the stream, they might not have any clue what's going on. But either way, I think I'm going to call it here. I think we're going to call the Jungle Temple done at this point, because Kavathos is very easy to put into the game. And we've done all of the 12 rooms. So, I guess that's it. This seems like a really kind of fun place to run, and I think it'd be fun. I actually have a group of friends who I might just run this for just to play test it, and I think that'd be a lot of fun too. Okay, anyway, thank you guys for joining me here. This was probably a little bit more drawn out than I will do in the future. I like the concept, but I do think that there's probably quite a bit of... sorry, this is bugging me that she's so small. I made her smaller. Hold on. Oh, you guys can't even see it, so it doesn't even matter what I'm doing. Whatever. In the future, I think I will probably do something similar to this, except I'll do a little bit more in between streams. That way I have things just ready to go, and we can build things together. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But I also, don't want it to be boring. So, we'll see. I gotta figure this one out. Thank you all very much. If in the future, if you'd rather see me do something like building a town, or building a monster from scratch, and maybe make that like a much smaller episode, or like a sequence of monsters, or whatever you guys think would be cool, I'd love to do that. If you want me to make another dungeon, that'd be totally fine too. And yeah, thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Cheers.